here on The Fan, 680 and 93.7. Streaming at 680thefan.com. Fan mobile app comes in handy. Listen anywhere, anytime. Crystal clear. And that is driven by Beaver Toyota of Cumming. 10 o'clock hour on The Fan, sponsored by Cornerstone Remodeling Atlanta for renovations to your home. Trust Cornerstone. Gang's all here. Road Dawg, producer. Derek Thomas, engineer. And we are ready to rock and roll on this Hump Day Wednesday.
Bucks Big Take.
As a former Georgia Bulldog player, on days like this, I get asked all the time about Kirby Smart's players who have broken the law and end up in jail. Are you embarrassed? I'm asked. My answer is always the same, of course not. Yesterday, Coach Smart had to deal with his seventh player getting arrested this year. And I'm told there have been 16 incidents total. And that has the critics screaming from the mountaintop about how Kirby has recruited the wrong guys and how he has an awful culture over in Athens. Does this make me mad? Well, of course not. As Kirby pointed out yesterday, when you have 130 17 to 23-year-olds you're responsible for, you're going to have issues. And sometimes those issues will be really ugly and difficult to deal with under the spotlight. Hey, it happened when I was there playing for Coach Dooley. And obviously it's happening now under Coach Smart. As many of you have heard this season on my show, the young men that Road Dogs lined up to come on the show, they've been impressive young men, like Dylan Fairchild yesterday. And as a father of two teenage boys, I've had to deal with some uncomfortable situations with my two teenagers. Most every time I find myself looking in the mirror and questioning my leadership, wondering if I'm being the father I really need to be. And as a former player at Georgia, heck, I had teammates that made mistakes and ended up on the wrong side of the law. We've all experienced it. We all grew from it. Some had to deal with it after being dismissed from the program. Now, Colby Young ended up in jail yesterday and is accused of battery and assault on his former girlfriend. Is that really Coach Smart's fault? Of course not. He had been a model employee up until that point. What's Kirby supposed to do? Look into the future and determine who's going to get in trouble and who's not? But, Buck, what about those speeding violations and those other arrests? Well, again, these are teenagers learning how to be men under the spotlight. Every misstep will be highlighted. Every mistake will be criticized. Coach Smart understands this like most every other football coach out there. He's dealing with these sensitive matters the best he knows how. What do? You circle the wagons and you continue to coach them up. And if they're guys that are making multiple transgressions, then they get shown the door. Not kicking my son out of the house the first time he screws up. And there's your big take getting the show started today. Let's hear from Kirby. Yesterday, Kirby Smart was talking about this Colby Young issue.
When you have 130 17 to 23-year-olds, that's, you're going to have issues. It's not going to be perfect. I certainly recognize we got to do a better job, but it's hard. And, you just want them to make better decisions as men off the field. I take a lot of responsibility in that, and it's tough, but that's the cost of leadership. Like, you're going to be judged and by the people you lead, and you got to stand up, face it, and do right by the kids and keep trying to find a better way.
Yeah, in Georgia, other than what Kirby had to say, basically no comment on this pending legal matter. The attorney, Kim Stevens, saying there was no physical contact considered a crime. Expect Colby Young to be fully exonerated. When the investigation is complete, the truth will be revealed. And that's that. Heck, Road Dog, I bet you getting hit up on this as you're out and about out there in the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's a popular topic from non-Georgia fans, definitely to bring up. To
what are they telling you?
Kirby's lost control of his team, and the environment and the culture over there is not something that you should be proud of. And there is some truth in some of that, and there's also truth in what you said, that these are 17 to 23-year-old men who are experiencing a new level of manhood and are learning how to handle it, and some of the positives and the negatives that come along with it. And unfortunately, there are. Now, I don't keep tabs of all these other programs, but I do know when Georgia players mess up. So I don't know if we're leading the pack with arrest or speeding violations or whatever we want to categorize Colby Young's incident as. But it's unfortunate. And Kirby's got something to figure out over there for sure.
No doubt about it. All right, let's see what's popping out there.